Hey, in this video, I'm going to go through the production that we actually did to create the Euros Lioness video leading into the finals. The gals won. The Lionesses are the champions yet again, second time in a row, so very excited. And I wanted to break down this video just a little bit more so that you could see how we used the actual sounds of the team to create the sound of this video. So without further ado, let me put my headphones on, switch my view. Here is the actual project that we created. You can see there's a lot going on, so hopefully you can appreciate the amount of effort that goes into these projects. So let me hit play. I'll let you watch it. I'll let you see as things happen throughout the video, and then what we'll do is I'll break it down, show you bits one by one, and show you exactly how we did it. And there was a lot of time scrolling through all of the content that the Lionesses have on their socials. We watched a lot. I watched a lot of content from the game, a lot of the highlights as well, and was collecting clips. So that was the starting point. But let me just hit play for now and let you have a listen if you haven't heard it before. There we are. There is the video. That's what we put up on socials. It got a decent response. And yeah, I just think it's going to be super fun just to break down exactly what we did to get to that point. And I say that just because there's certain moments in this, like, let me just zoom in quickly to here. We've got like this keeper save. And when you can actually see it with the video, it's just so fun to hear it in motion. What have we got here as well? Football pole net. Where did that go? Yeah. And when you hear the beat all together and you actually realize what it's built up of. So you may be a creative director watching this. You may be... Gosh, you could be a brand manager watching this. You could just be a creative yourself and you're thinking, how can I push the boundaries with sound? Well, I think this is why it's quite fun to see how we're taking samples from the world. I call it foraging. Like, you go out, forage some sounds from the world and use those in productions, use those in the sound. And I love it because you can't recreate that. The only way you can recreate the sound is by doing another recording, and that means that it belongs to somebody else, or it's not of your particular product or your project. In this case, it wouldn't be the Lionesses if you just recorded another team. Like, this is undeniably the Lionesses in this recording, in this song, in this track, in every way, shape or form, even down to the crowd sounds. The crowd sounds, where are they? Over here. The crowd sounds are even from the penalty shootout that happened in the semi-finals. So like here, like that scream, that yeah is the actual crowd of the Lionesses. And that's the level we kind of gone to with this. So bit by bit, let's go through it. Where do we start off? I think the starting point for me was a lot about what we're trying to recreate. And for me, I was trying to recreate that feeling when you're watching something on TV. You can hear the crowd singing, you can hear the distant drums, you can hear that trumpet in the back of the crowd. And I wanted to recreate it, but it being a song, as if you were watching something on TV and they put a track over the highlights. But rather than just being a song, the song is made up of the crowd, of the team, of the moment and that energy, like the energy of that goal I just shared you there, that crowd sound, that energy is quite literally the energy that the Lionesses brought to that stadium as they made it into the final. And I think that energy just can't be replicated. That would be different energy from like a local team or maybe just another team. Like what if it was Manchester United? Would that crowd sound more Northern male? Would it be more Northern women? Like all these questions that you can only do by putting the extra effort in to make the sound, and that energy is what then gets reflected. Those teams, the followers, the fans, putting them in the actual track. So that was the starting point for me, but I was also thinking, how can I create something that feels like it already exists? So the main melodies you hear in the chorus here, crowd. Like, how do we make it feel like this song already exists and this song already is the theme song for the team? So my starting point was actually with a crowd. I think there's an epicness to that sound that is like pretty undeniable as well. So I really wanted to find the energy from the crowd. So that's where I started off with. This is actually a plugin. A plugin is a piece of software that allows you to replicate something. So I could get on my keyboard the sound of a bass guitar with a certain plugin piece of software that would allow me to play a bass sound on my piano. So in this case, it was a choir. Jacob Collier choir. If anybody is a fan of him, he gets his audience and his crowd to sing, and then he can maneuver their notes up and down and like volumes, and he like really plays like theatrically with the crowd. Very fun to go watch him live, and he has his own piece of software where you can do that. So that was the starting point there. These are fun. So these are all these are sometimes sounds from the actual team. You can hear the "Let's Go." That's from a practice video I found on their Instagram channel, and you can hear the effect and the echo that I've added to it as well. What else have we got? Some laughing moments, and they're having a laugh in the practice. Again, crowd.
And England are through to the finals.
Obviously, you can hear that's from the TV stream.
England are through to the finals.
From the semi-finals. This next one down here is fun. So that was her screaming "hey," or it might have been "yay," but I just did it as a "yay." I've pitched it down so it sounds really low. And this one, two people are shouting at the same time, and it actually sounds like a chord. Two people singing at once. So I've tuned it, and I've actually pitched it in different ways so it creates a melody. Dun, dun. You can hear those two notes. Dun, dun. So now let me press play, and you'll hear that in motion. Fun. And I just love that it's one of the team actually shouting, and it's become the melody as well. Right, backing vocals. This was fun. This is how I created the crowd singing, basically. So this moment here, there is this plugin, this piece of software that allows you to type in text. So I wanted to get the crowd to be singing ba 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 da ba 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 da. I wanted them to sing that, so I actually typed the word "ba" in and then played it on the keyboard. I did a men and a women. It sounds okay, but it sounds a little bit like a choir in a church even. So I've layered that with my own vocal. Here we go. And I put it into I put a stadium reverb on it, so it sounds like it's in a big stadium. And by the time you've put all this together, and then put that into the song, you just have quite a believable sounding football crowd. Same here with England. I did another iteration here with this same plugin again, England. When you're using like text to music software in this kind of way, I want to get the choir to sing England. I tried typing in England, and it was like England, and it was very weird. So I had to spell it a bit more phonetically. So England. That was the one that came out the best. So you can hear that here. And this moment of the song is when it goes dun 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 England. I couldn't find any recordings that had it really cleanly, that didn't have any other audio that was interfering with it. So this was my second best. Again, I layered that with myself shouting England into a mic very loudly. And you pair those together. And in context of the song, it's just, again, undeniably, it feels like a crowd. Like, it sounds to me like I've just captured that from a video somewhere, or recorded it in the moment myself and put it into the song. Put it into the song for sure. And it goes well with this shot here, because you can kind of, your eyes and your ears are telling you that it's chanting from the crowd. So that was super fun. That was super fun. Right, the drums. This is where it gets fun. So we've got some stomps, some claps, various things that you'd expect from a crowd. There's some. Big stadium sounding claps and kicks. This is actually genuinely keepy uppies a ball. It's got some sound effects. Very fun. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, showed you this at the start of the video. Just a kick and a catch. Same with this one here. This is a kick and back of the net. Yeah, great sound. And by chopping them together, especially with this kick, you get a real football sounding beat. Yeah, put the stomps and the claps. Yeah. What else? We got some score goal claps. Keeper saves. And obviously a football kick. You just couldn't not have a football kick for the big drop. So next, I actually struggled with the toms in this. This was like, there's always the big drum at the back of the stadium, and I wanted to figure out how to do that, but I struggled to find a recording or something clean enough to do it. So I did actually use some plugins myself. Again, the same strategy of using reverb and echoes from an actual stadium, so it sounds like it's in that location. These drums are really fun to play with. They sound like this on their own. And then once you've got that mixed with England, the crowd, oh, I think it switched the words around there. I think I was saying land-ing. There we go. Tell me that doesn't sound like just a crowd. Like, we recorded that in a stadium in order to make this video. Technology is crazy nowadays. A fun bass line here. This is just to support that kind of real simple high energy moment we wanted. I feel like at the end of matches there's always like high energy, like dance music. I did a lot of research into what kind of songs play at the end. Obviously we have Sweet Caroline at the end of all of our games, but on the whole it's normally like a dance party mode, celebratory type song. So I wanted to keep loyal to that. And then this I found interesting. So this is like the piano that would go with that kind of music, and a synthesizer. It just sounds great. It sounds really uplifting. It's like a real, I don't know, happy vibe. But what I found interesting was, with our agency, we do sonic branding. So wherever a brand has sound, anywhere, on any different, at many different touch points. So that could be on social media, it might be a podcast, it might be events. We always try and use a brand song and pull it apart into different ways so that you can use it in these different scenarios. So I was playing this and I was thinking, this sounds like the start of a TV show. When you turn something on and you get the presenter telling you what's coming up, who they're going to be interviewing. Like, hey, today we are going to be speaking to Ian Wright. We are going to be talking about the game that's happening tomorrow. The Lionesses are in the final. See how good that just works? So I was enjoying making this in the sense of if this really became the Lionesses song, how would it be used across podcasts? How would it be used across the TV shows? Like when we turned on any game to do with England, to do with the Lionesses, what would we hear? What would make us feel familiar? What would make us feel excited? Especially if you only heard this for Lioness games. I think it would be super awesome. So this worked really well. I was quite conscious that we needed that kind of sound that felt like it was going to be a broadcast, or it was going to be used in that kind of way. So that was super fun. Brass. There's always a trumpet player at the back of a crowd, right? So I couldn't record one myself, so I did play it in. But again, I wanted it to sound like when you hear those trumpet players at the back of a crowd. So I, again, put the usual reverbs, made it sound like it was at the back of a stadium, and actually intentionally kept it quite quiet. Because if it was too loud, it wouldn't sound like a trumpet player at the back of a crowd. It would sound like the trumpet player at the front of the crowd. So have a listen again. And then the crowd supports it. It makes it feel like this song already exists and that people already know it. And if you're watching this video for the first time, I should know this song. I'm a huge Lioness fan. So when the vocals come in of the whole crowd, that gives that feeling of confirmation, like this thing exists already. Okay, sound effects. This was really fun. So this piece of audio you're about to hear was filmed on someone's phone. I found it on Instagram. It was filmed on someone's phone from behind the goal as England were doing the penalty shootout in the semi-finals. So you're hearing the actual crowd of that goal. I think it was the winning goal. Again, you can only get that energy from that particular crowd. So it's just super unique to that moment. And when you hear it as we call these in the industry risers and then exhaust. So a riser is moving up to a moment, and then the exhaust is something that you would do it's like a cymbal going like at the time a chorus hit. So you can hear it now in this.
And England
Crowd rising.
to the finals.
And then you can hear that crowd in the background. And I generally pair that with things like cymbals. So you can hear cymbals there and various other things happening. But it adds so much energy into the track. This was quite fun. A little running moment right at the beginning. And I timed it so it was in time with the music. just as a little subtle highlight, and something that's also quite fun. If you're listening to this on headphones and you watch this dial, you'll see it go from left to right. And you'll hear it go from left to right as well. That's a really fun detail. What have we got here? The lion roar. Needed some kind of lion roar, didn't we? But I didn't want it to be really obvious and cheesy. So you've got the lion roar, but then there's a huge echo reverb sound that happens straight afterwards that puts you into this massive space. It just makes you go, whoa. And this next one here. Again, just huge impact moment. It makes me feel like in movies, this is called Foley. So this is where they will create the sound of a dragon, or they'll create the sound of an alien, or maybe a passing spaceship with so many different sounds that you would never expect. But it's so abstract that you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily what it was. So we've got a cymbal here, mixed with a lion's roar. That sounds like a spaceship. Then with a hey, and then a rising crowd sound. Feels like a intergalactic space war of some kind. But the energy, I mean, listen to all that together with the music. Just so much energy in that. And then finally, a whistle blow. So fun. And that happens when the chorus starts. So a lot of these things are subtle, but they make you feel a way subconsciously. You're not necessarily expecting to... Let me get my screen full again. You're not expecting necessarily to be listening out for whistles or listening out for crowd sounds. They are there, but it's okay that you don't necessarily hear them, but you feel them. You feel the energy. You feel like this song belongs in that moment at that event, or like I say, like on a podcast or on a TV show. And I think it's something that brands generally don't think about enough, especially with marketing. And I also don't think as an art, we think about those moments quite deep enough. I'm not saying we're the first people to ever do this, but we're such a small minority of people thinking about sound in this kind of way. And the statistics prove it. So only 4% of marketing budget gets spent on audio. But the energy that that gives to that video just there, and like, you know, you guys listening to that, to me, it elevates it way more than 4%. And statistics generally will back that up. So the brain processes emotional recall through sound. When you listen to something, your emotions are being processed 100 million times faster than anything you look at, which means that when you hear a TV advert a TV advert comes onto the screen and you're watching TV, your brain has processed the sound of it and the emotion of the sound that you're hearing and how you feel about it 100 million times faster than by the time you've processed what you're looking at and figured out and worked out what you're looking at. That's the power of sound. It can make you feel something instantly, but yet only 4% of marketing budgets gets spent on it. And we buy things emotionally. We choose what we watch on TV emotionally, or our favorite films, or our favorite music, or so many things. We do it by emotion. So if music can trigger that emotion so quickly and so impressively, you know, so with so much impact, why don't we take sound a little bit more seriously? And I think that's what we're exploring with. So that's what we're exploring with here. So we've got the American Open coming up next month. We've got the Ryder Cup coming up in September. We're going to do some more of these videos and see what emotion we can unlock for people, and see if we can get marketing experts, branding experts, creative directors, you know, people that take this stuff really seriously in the marketing world or the branding world, to start seeing music a lot more as not just entertainment, not just nice to have, but it's unlocking value in this way that only sound can unlock. And I think that brings power to the arts. I think that brings power to music. And I think we should all be aware of it in many different ways. So I hope you've enjoyed this video for that very reason, like seeing me breaking this down and the reasons why. I'm going to just play the track for you one more time so you can see it all the way through. with all this new knowledge. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Right, let's hit play on this thing and make sure you can see it. Man, I love what I do. It's so much fun.